All right, we are live, guys. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 2 of Pick Your Brain. We got a really special guest today. I'm very, very excited to have him on board. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in last week with the musical theater virtual guys, Ryan O'Gorman and Tom Heyer. We've got massive reactions from it. So many people love the casual conversations and realize that people who are already practicing and who are already really professional on the world stage have had to go through a lot of training and rejection and all of the dramatic stuff. So I mean, that's the whole point of this podcast, is for me to really pick the brains and learn from these guys who are at the top of their game out here in the world, and who are industry icons, who are making great strides for themselves, and for me to just ask and learn from them, because I didn't have the opportunity to go to drama school, or I've been in the UK for 2 years and it's all still very new to me. Just learning the standards and just really keeping up with such amazing talent. And you realize that I'm just a very small fish in a very, very big ocean. And that's why I put this up. And it's perfect because during Corona, we're all stuck at home and people are compelled to say yes when I invite them because they have nothing else to do right now. Okay, I've got a very special guest. Just a little background. Way before, years ago, before I actually landed the gig in Miss Saigon and had a reason to go to the UK, a theater actress who was also from the Philippines, who has known me since I was a child, because I was in theater with her when I was a baby, Gia Makua, sent me a message randomly, and she was like, you remind me of this guy that I'm working with right now in Here Lies Love. His name is Dean John Wilson. I had no idea who he was. I was far. I was 15 hours across the world. So I was like, oh, all right. Oh, she goes, yeah, we're doing this show, and you should really consider this show if it goes to Manila or if it goes to that side of the world, because the role that he plays is something that I can actually see you playing as well. So that was a really short blurb on Facebook. Fast forward to, I was in the UK, I was touring with Miss Saigon, and eventually The King and I. And I find out that Dean John Wilson is this massive star on the West End. He originated Aladdin, the West End premiere and the West End version of Aladdin from Broadway. He was the original Aladdin, and he was also the original Lunta, a role that I eventually ended up covering for the UK international tour. And I chatted him up on Instagram, and he turned out to be an amazing and very approachable guy. And I ended up working out with him, which was not very smart of me because my ego wanted to keep up with him. And I'll tell you guys more about that later on. But I'm so glad that we eventually became really good friends, and he's been so positive and so encouraging throughout this dark times. And I look up to him. He's an amazing vocalist, obviously. Like, he riffs and he sings from the soul like I have never heard anyone else do. And there's a heart that backs all of that voice up. And he's a really, really nice guy. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you guys Aladdin, Lunta. He was also in Jason Robert Brown's Songs for a New World. He sings a lot of the Scott Allen songs, stuff that we only can dream of doing on stage. And it's my pleasure to welcome him on my podcast. I pick the brains off Mr. Dean John Wilson.
Woo!
What's up, mate? How are you?
What's up? I'm very well. I'm super well. How are you?
Very good. Looking good. How's your cold shower this morning? Yeah?
Oh, cold shower was fantastic, dude. You know how it is. You know how it is. But listen, I just wanted to jump on the back of what you mentioned earlier, that you were a small fish in a big pond. You are a very talented fish. Ladies and gents, this guy is a very talented fish in this world, and we're very, very lucky to have you here.
Yeah, I got the pleasure of getting the whole, Dean John Wilson experience as a voice coach, as a Dean Plan coach, so I got the whole thing, you know what I mean? And just so you guys know, like, Dean has been hustling throughout these times. Like, he's a constant. You've been voice coaching, right? Voice coaching and also personal training.
Yeah, I mean, this hasn't just. Yeah, go on, sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this hasn't just came about in these kind of dark times. I mean, VCA, my voice coaching academy, was founded in 2015, and I've been grinding away at that for, well, the past kind of 10, 12 years with that. And, you know, with what's going on in the world, these, like you said, very challenging and unprecedented times. Yeah, I mean, it's really taken off, and it's just so lovely to just hear a plethora of talent from all over the place, all over the world. In fact, I'm coaching people in Australia, coaching people in the States, not coaching anyone in the Philippines as of yet. I'm coaching someone in Japan. So I'm doing Asia.
You have a massive following in Japan. You have lots of fans in Japan. That's amazing.
I love my Japanese following. They're absolutely fantastic, wonderful people. Right. And they're just so welcoming and so warm. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the beginning. Like, how did you start? Like, what was Dean John Wilson like when he was a kid? And were you always into musical theater, into music?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna be a star. Yeah.
Well, actually, a lot of people will be shocked with this. It all started out when I was about 10 years old, and I actually took up boxing. I was a boxer for boxing for maybe 4 or 5 years, and my sister went to a local dance school. So there's a little bit of a Billy Elliot story here coming along.
Nice.
So my sister went to a local dance school, and I used to go and pick her up from dancing and whatnot. Wow. And back in Middlesbrough, it wasn't really the done thing to be. There wasn't very much opportunity, and there wasn't really the done thing for a guy to be dancing or singing or doing any kind of drama or anything. And anyways, I noticed more and more guys at this local dance school were dancing and were singing and doing lots of drama and things. And one day I literally just said to Mum, like, I want to try this out. I want to try it out. And my mum absolutely hated the way that I spoke growing up, because from Middlesbrough, the way that I speak, she wanted me to have speak a little bit more eloquently.
Like, so she was like a more posh London, like a southern London.
Not so much, just a bit more clearly and whatnot. And I was like, okay, cool. And then, so I started out going to drama sessions there, elocution sessions, and then realized that I could sing. I always sang. My dad was a singer. He sang around the clubs and whatnot. So he was very, very supportive in terms of my singing. My mum pushed me. I made sure that I went to every class in this local dance school that I went to. And then I still boxed. And then the boxing kind of just drifted away. And I found my passion, dude. I did. And then I went to, I need to mention Ryan O'Gorman, who you had on last week. I actually trained with him. He was the year above me at Stockton Riverside College. Wonderful talent, great guy as well. I haven't seen him in such a long time. So when I checked out last week's podcast, it was wonderful to see and hear his voice, and he's doing super, super well. And also Tom as well. He's doing so well. I've done a couple of jobs with him and sang with him a couple of times.
Great,
wonderful talent. Wonderful talent. And then basically I went to Stockton Riverside. I was the year below Ryan. Did some wonderful shows there, and literally didn't know like what the next step was for me after Stockton Riverside College. And I basically sought advice from the head there and just people around me, and they said, look, you should audition for London. You should go to Mount View or Artsaid. And I auditioned for these couple of places. I'd never really been out of Middlesbrough, to be honest. I'd definitely never been to London. And me and my mum jumped on the train, got down to London, and we stayed there in a little tiny B&B that was like underground. It was really derelict and just not a very nice place. But we kind of stayed there. It was kind of all we could really afford at the time, to be honest. And we did it. And I was very, very lucky to get a scholarship at Mount View Academy of Theatre Arts. And I went there for 3 years. And the kind of rest is history. It's all been like literally not knowing what's going to happen next. Because even after Mount View, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get an agent. I'm going to get a job, where it's going to be. And dude, the rest has been history, to be honest. And that's kind of been my life in a nutshell.
But it's that uncertainty that actually builds your character, doesn't it? Like it keeps you on your toes and never really settling down.
Yeah, absolutely. And exactly just that. And I think what I've learned over the past kind of 10 years of living in London is you got to learn to build that thick skin. It does. You got to learn to build that thick skin, because more often than not, and I remember Tom and Ryan briefly mentioning this, is you're going to deal with rejection more than anything in this industry. So for anybody who is wanting to come into performing arts or musical theatre or anything like that, just learn to build that thick skin, because in 10 years of me working in London, probably auditioned about 1,000 times, probably 1,000 times, maybe. And how many jobs have I had out of that? Probably about 10.
Wow.
About 10, 11
Seriously?
jobs. Great jobs.
Yeah, great jobs.
That's kind of it. Like, just learn to deal with rejection, because it's going to happen more often than not, and it builds character.
But you didn't tell me that you auditioned for the Royal National Ballet, right? No, I'm kidding.
Can you imagine?
Of course, you might get rejected there.
Well, yeah, you might do.
Who was the main voice of like inspiration or encouragement growing up? Like, was it your mom? You're very close to your mom.
Very close to my mum. Okay, so a little backstory on my life, little backdrop. My mother and father separated when I was very, very young. So from a single parent background. My dad has always been there, but just not within the same household. Unfortunately, my father passed away 8 years ago, which is very sad at the time. But yeah, my mum's been my rock, paper, and scissors throughout my entire career. Like, there's 4 of us in the house, and yeah, so she has just been an absolute rock for me. She's always pushing me, encouraging me. Yeah, and it's kind of my lifelong ambition to do her proud. That's basically it.
So you were training in Middlesbrough, then you eventually went to London. You got a scholarship in Mount View. What was there any like pivotal moment or a performance by an actor or a show or a song that you heard and you said, "Yep, that's what I want to do"?
Yeah, there was actually. I saw my first West End show when I was in my second year of Stockton Riverside College, and I went down to London with the college, and I saw "We Will Rock You," and
okay.
I saw Tony Vincent sing the role of Galileo, and I literally just sat there in awe in this huge barn of a theatre, the Dominion Theatre.
Yeah,
you know, thousands of people there watching. I was just like a little schoolboy watching, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And yeah, I was just absolutely blown away. And I was like, one day I want to do that role.
Yeah,
one day I want to do that role.
Do you remember getting used to rejection? Same in advertising industry, definitely creates thicker skin. Yeah, Noah Valdez, good friend of mine from back home. Do you remember? Was there a first song that you realized that, oh my God, I sound amazing in this? It feels like butter. Like there are moments right there.
It feels like butter.
Yeah.
My earliest memory of singing a song, actually, was probably the earliest memory of me singing was probably the song "My Way" by Frank Sinatra.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even a theatre song.
Yeah,
I remember that was like one of my earliest memories. And my earliest theatre song that I sang was actually "Why God Why," which I auditioned for on Britain's Got Talent with it. That was my earliest one. I remember. Tom last week is obviously covered the role and played the role of Chris, which is fantastic. And I've heard him sing it, and he sings it amazingly well. And that's kind of probably my earliest memory of a musical theatre song, and realised that, because the thing is with theatre, it's very different to television and film. The thing that I love about theatre is you get that instant accolade. Like, as soon as you finish that song, you get that applause, and you feel like you've helped people escape for that, however long that song is, or however long the show is. Whatever's going on in the world in these dark, challenging, unprecedented times, you feel that you've helped someone out of that dark time, just to come on this journey with us.
There's that immediate communion with the audience right away. As soon as the curtain comes up, you're already together in that in that space, in that spirit.
Yeah. And it also helps you forget as well. Like helps it as actors as well.
Yeah.
It helps that no matter what's going on in your life. Obviously, everybody has problems and issues. There's negative energy in everyone's lives. But when you come to the theater, whether you're an audience member or you're in the cast or crew, I feel that there is that sense of escapism, and it's therapy. It helps you forget for however long. I know, and it's really been helpful for me throughout my career.
Do you remember the very first professional job that you booked?
Yes, I do. So
I never got to ask you this when we hung out the last time. I wanted to ask you, what was the professional job? Were you immediately out of Mount View? Ha! I'm Dean John Wilson. You know what I mean? Like
actually, my name is Dean Wilson, and I thought I was going to use Dean Wilson for the rest of my career, but quickly realized when leaving Mount View, it was okay. This name's already been taken, so you need to put another name in. So I just basically used my middle name and put Dean John-Wilson, and that's the birth of Dean John Wilson. My first job that I booked was a wonderful show, a #1 tour, which was Sister Act, and I was I was an offstage swing, and I covered 7 tracks. Anybody who is a swing, and for those of you who don't know what a swing is essentially somebody who covers a multitude of tracks in the show. Super, super, super talented people. Those of you who can do it well. Personally, it was my first job. Would I do it again? I don't think I've got the brains to do it again. It is just it's such a difficult track, and kudos to anybody who can do it well.
Such respect for them. Such respect.
Yeah,
for them.
Such respect. Yeah, I mean, I only covered 7 roles, and I had to do the choreography on one side and the choreography on the other side, and then sometimes I was singing tenor and sometimes singing bass and baritone and all over the place. So it was such a, and you never knew. Like I would sit in the theater and I would tour the whole country.
Yeah.
And I'd be just sat there, and it'd be like, Dean, you're on for track, blah 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 blah. And I'd be like, okay, let me get my notes out, let me get my Bible out, let me
swing Bible.
Yeah, it'd just be color coordinated and everything. People love doing it, and people spend their whole career just doing swing roles, which is fantastic. You know, we need those guys. We need those guys. Those guys are amazing.
I had no idea that you were a swing, like an on
dude.
Swing.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic. Have you seen the show?
Sister Act, not yet actually. It was supposed to go to London with Whoopi Goldberg, but then Corona happened and everything.
Yeah. Fantastic show. Show. Really is.
What about the reality TV stuff? Like you got into Britain's Got Talent. Did that happen at the height of your musical theater swinging career, or?
Yeah, well, the thing is, a little backdrop on how that actually happened. So I'd already got into Mount View, and I was already going to Mount View. And in that time before I was kind of that grace period before I was going to Mount View, my sister, Chantel, shout out to you. I'm sure she's probably watching. She actually filled in my application form and done all my application form for Britain's Got Talent without me realizing.
Yeah.
And it come through and it said, oh, you're going to audition. And I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to audition, what I'm going to be doing. I don't know. Like, I didn't really know that world. So I picked a song. I went to the first audition and they said, you can't do that song. And I said, okay, no worries. I said, what song can I do? They give me a plethora of songs, loads of songs. And I said, okay, I don't really know these ones. I don't particularly like that one. I think this one suits me. I think this one is the one I want to do. And it was actually Why God Why. And we were going backward and forward for time. Like literally, you can do this one, do that one. No, do this one, do that one. And I was like, I just want to do this one. And in the end, they just said, okay, you can do the one that you want to do. And I was like, okay, cool. And did it. And the rest is history. I'm sure many of you have probably seen the audition. Long time ago, 10 years ago now. Not longer. 12 years ago.
It's somewhere on YouTube, and honestly, once we're done with this podcast, I'm going to edit it in just so that it's hilarious for people to watch it. But it's like, what's the experience on auditioning for a reality show contest? Is it like, because we only really see the edit, like the final edit with the music, it's cut, the comments are cut. But what's the feeling on the ground, like when you're actually there?
Look, here's the thing. It's definitely changed because, as you are probably aware, I did The Voice 2020.
Yeah.
So it went, it changed over the years. But I think I've got to be careful what I say here so I don't get sued.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. But I think
Say
the whole
it,
show.
yeah.
The thing is the show is as with anything of that kind of caliber. It's a beast. It's a machine, and it runs the way that it
Yep.
wants to run.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what we see on reality TV is so very carefully orchestrated and carefully choreographed in the way that they want it to run. You have a little bit of say, but it's the big boys who make and the guys with the big wigs who make the decisions at the end of the day. So there's not a lot of
really, it's a machine, isn't it? It's like it's really curated so that it tailor fits into a certain brand that they want to.
It's exactly what you said there. It's the brand. It's Britain's Got Talent, The Voice. It's Disney. It's whatever that may be. I mean, but listen, I absolutely loved my time on Britain's Got Talent. I loved my time through The Voice. It's like such amazing people, and it has changed.
Yeah,
it definitely has changed.
There's a place for that. Like, I mean, not to knock it down. It is a machine. It is a corporate machine, and it's a brand. But there's a place for that. It has produced some of the most amazing talents that we've seen and recording artists. Let's go back. We'll go back to The Voice in a bit. But then, and then eventually, like, if you Google and if you YouTube your British Got Talent audition, you were like so young. You were
I was green, brother. I was green.
Completely green. But then you had this earnestness about you. You were just so happy to be where you were.
Yeah. There's the young Aladdin was there. That's the birth of the young Aladdin.
That's what and this is a good question from my brother who's watching. Oh. Why did you eventually choose musical theater and not choose the movie or TV route? And just a little bit of context, because out here, I realized it because I have an agent here, and she's pushing me for everything: MT, TV, Netflix, HBO, whatever, anything I can get my hands on. As an actor, it's really well-rounded. But back home, there's quite the disparity of being a musical or a theater actor versus a TV or a film actor. Is there a particular reason why you didn't choose the latter?
Actually, I'm currently trying to do both at the moment, and it's very difficult. I've had the opportunity to do a couple of bits and pieces of a TV and some movie stuff. So it's a really great question.
You did a movie. You did a movie recently. Yeah.
I did a movie recently. Actually, straight off the back of Aladdin, I did a movie called We Die Young, which is on Amazon at the moment. So I would love you guys to check it out. I was working opposite Jean-Claude Van Damme. I had a complete skin head. I had tattoos everywhere.
All over.
I was about 15 stone. I wasn't.
15 stone.
I think I was about 14 stone 5 or something. I was big. I was big at that point. I wasn't quite as lean, but I put on a lot of size. I think what we mentioned earlier about MT and movies. The thing is, when you're doing a movie, you might do a great scene, but you don't get that instant kind of recognition or accolade. You don't get that kind of response after you've done a scene. Yeah. So why did I choose? I guess what do I prefer? I prefer both. Yeah. I love the process of both. I really, really do. Yeah. Just kind of getting that opportunity. My all-time dream would be to do a musical film.
Oh, that'll be perfect.
Yeah, a musical film.
Actually, and that's what's really nice about out here, at least, wherein the craft of acting, it really goes across the disciplines. Some of the best theater actors are also some of the best film actors. Yeah. And it's so nice to see them on stage. Like Andrew Scott is one of my favorite actors ever, and we've seen him on film and on TV, and we love going and watching his plays when he's on stage. Anyway, so let's talk about Aladdin. You booked the job. How did you get there? Because it's coveted, mate. Like Aladdin is Aladdin. I mean,
it's Disney.
It's Disney, and it's a whole new world. I mean,
I have dreamed of a whole new world.
You know what we're going to talk about right after this.
Of course.
So tell me about Aladdin. What was the process like?
Yeah. So basically, it was another time in my career when that level of uncertainty. I was out of work for about maybe 4 or 5 months. And those months just go, man. I was living back in Middlesbrough, which is Middlesbrough, just to give you a bit of geography, is about 3 hours on the train from here, about 5-6 hour drive from London, up north in the northeast of England. I was living back at home, and for those 4 or 5 months, kind of doing a little bit of teaching where I could, really trying to push my Voice Coach Academy, VCA, really trying. It was tricky. It was kind of taking off and then getting back set. So it was difficult. It was a difficult time for me in terms of financially, just kind of trying to keep myself afloat. I was always of the mindset of trying my best to try and make a living off my own back, rather than going into and working behind a bar or working as a waiter or something like that. I just, for some part of me, I just didn't want to do that. So anyways, the cut long story short, my agent in America actually messaged me and said, do you know that Aladdin is meant to be coming to London? And I was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I look like Aladdin a little bit. Like I look like the cartoon. Why? I want to be seen for that. So then I messaged, I emailed. And I love the film. I mean, who doesn't love the film? Of course. One of the best, if not the. Yeah. I emailed my agent and I said, look, I've got wind that Aladdin might be coming to the West End. I'd love to be seen for it. What are the chances? And they said, okay, we'll put the word out, but we've not heard anything yet. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, I had my heart set on it. I was like, I've not worked for 4 or 5 months. I'm broke, or kind of broke. And I'm like, I think I can do this job. I really think I look like the part. I think I can sing the role. I can act the role. I want to do it. And I want to originate it. It's going to be a huge deal. Yeah. Next thing, I forgot about it. I literally forgot about it. And I was at home, and I was actually landscaping a garden at the time. I was digging. I was digging in the garden, digging away. And I actually got a message from my agent saying, you're going to need to come to London next week for your first round of Aladdin. And I was like, amazing. I'm ready. So I went to London, did my first audition. Cut to 11 auditions later. 11. I had 11 auditions for Aladdin. They auditioned everyone all over the place. And their mothers. Everyone and their mothers. Literally everyone. And they just needed to look a little closer to home. Middlesbrough, a Middlesbrough boy, who would have thought? And I mean, because then what happened then, and I have to give a shout out to a good friend of mine, Chris Chung, who I did realize love with. He was so lovely. When I came to London, all that time that I was doing these 11 auditions, he gave me his sofa. And I sofa surfed on his sofa for those 11 auditions. So thank you for that, brother. I appreciate that. I never forget that. And it just saved me a lot of money kind of coming backward and forward from it, because the train's like £50 to £100 depending on when you book it. So obviously 11 times it's going to be a lot of money. And I didn't have that kind of money back then. So I was just didn't want it to be doing the backward and forth. I had to sometimes. But yeah, I just basically stayed in the sofa. I had my final audition. And I went back to Chris's apartment, and I stayed on his sofa. And that morning, I woke up at about 10 to 8 in the morning. And I looked down at my phone, and my phone was turned over. It was literally like this way around, like on the floor. So I looked up to look at the time. And as I turned it round, my agent was calling me at 10 to 8 in the morning. And I was like, kind of went, what is going on here? Let me just. Do I want to answer that, or should I just leave it ring? Let me just leave it ring. So I left it ring, because you get scared, don't I? I don't know about you, but sometimes I get scared and I look at my phone like, oh, my agent's ringing. It's either going to be yes or no. There's no maybe or. It's like, and I'm like, and in my head I was going, what are the things that I've been auditioning for? Okay, the only thing that I've already been auditioned for is Aladdin. And it's been a while. So then I was just about to answer it, and it went to voicemail. And then I listened to the voicemail, and it was my agent saying, Dean, you need to call me as soon as possible. And I was like, okay, I'm going to call you as soon as possible. So I answered that. I was calling him, shaking. I put the phone down on the floor, and so I was like leaned over the sofa, and I was looking at the phone. Put it on loudspeaker. My agent answered the phone, and I could hear a shower going on in the background. He was literally just got out of the shower, and he said, Dean, sorry, I had to call you because just before I get in the shower, I had to call you because I've just heard from Disney. Unfortunately, it's not great news.
No.
And I went, okay. It's amazing news. They want you as Aladdin. And I went, they want you as they want Disney that's what it said. Disney want you as their Aladdin. And I went, what? Don't play with me like that. Are you being serious? And then literally I was completely speechless. Like my phone was on the floor. And I remember specifically looking down at the phone and the tears falling from my eyes onto my phone, and I tried to. I said, I'm gonna have to call you back. So I'm trying to press the phone off, but because of my tears were like mush on the phone. It was doing the thing like this. So what I did is I actually squeezed my phone together like that and turned my phone off. And there was nobody in that. There was nobody in that apartment at the time. And I literally, time just stood still. I literally stood up in that place, going. I just felt an enormous amount of gratitude for everything in that time, because like I'm in this apartment which isn't mine, I'm on this sofa, and this, you know, I've been living in Middlesbrough for 4 or 5 months, I'm kind of broke, and knowing that I've got this amazing, fantastic opportunity and job that, you know, worked hard for, but it all paid off. And for me, it was the highlight of my career, brother.
Just the timing of it, just everything. Can he sing an Aladdin bit, please? We'll get to that a little bit later.
We'll get to that a little bit later.
Yeah, but the timing of it all just makes. I think that made it a little bit sweeter. That, you know, you were out of job for 4 to 5 months. You didn't know what was happening, and wow, 11. I didn't realize that it was 11 rounds. And
11 rounds, dude. 11. I had, it was a lot. I had, it was all over London, though. It was all over. There was a few dance calls. It was just such a big project. I had like about 2 months prep before I started rehearsals with the choreographer. Shout out to Ben Clare. He's fantastic. Helped me no end.
There's a whole tap sequence for you.
That's kind of what I had to prep for. I had to prep that. So yeah, it was such a big project, and it was such a huge part of my life, and I absolutely loved doing it. I loved the whole. And the thing is, I didn't just love doing the role. I loved the whole company. I really did. I just, you know, I thought the whole creative team. I love working with Americans. I love, just the whole cast and creative team were just fantastic. It was a really, really awesome time,
mate. And to sing all of that music of Alan Menken, big budget Hollywood tentpole movie Avengers, or small indie Shakespeare themed productions to star in. Oh, that's interesting.
That's a very good question. What would I do?
What would you do, Dean?
If I had to choose, the thing is, I love intimate spaces. That's it. I love to connect with people on a really intimate.
I saw you. We saw you. My wife and I saw you at the cockpit.
I love that, dude.
For the Scott.
I love that
Scott Allen one. Really, really good show. We were like 15, and we were like 15 people in the theater.
It's amazing because what you get to see people really connect with you. You're literally telling story. You feel like you're doing a duologue with them. The thing is, when you're doing big budget Hollywood movie, I mean, it wasn't.
Who doesn't want to be an Avenger, though? Come on.
I mean, I do want to be, of course, but I'm thinking, of course I do. That's I absolutely want to do that. But equally,
there's something really fulfilling, isn't it?
Yeah, you're acting to a lens, and you don't get that instant accolade. You don't get that moment of telling that story and allowing people to connect with you immediately. And when you just look out to people in the audience, like at the cockpit theater with like 40 people there, or even at Songs for a New World at the other palace where there was maybe a couple of 100 people there, you just see people cry. You just see people's emotions, raw emotions, laughing, crying, connecting with you, commenting. And for me, that is just so fulfilling. And that was a wonderful thing that I loved about Aladdin, just seeing not just children's faces light up with joy and crying and knowing all of the words, but it was such a family show, and you would see people who grew up with the film, men laughing, men crying, like fully grown men. Like I would sing Proud of Your Boy, or we would do a very tender part of the show or something. And it just makes people connect and relate to what's going on in their world. It really does. It stops becoming about Aladdin, the story. It becomes more about what humanity you can bring to the piece, and how they can connect.
And that's something that only theater can do. You don't have that with the film or the cinematic experience. You need that live, soulful exchange in the theater. All right. Yeah. So you booked Aladdin. You're now a big, legitimate West End leading man, a big star. Does it get easier? Does it like, all right, I can take my pick now of any role that I want out there. Does it get easier that way with that credit?
I mean, yes and no, because at the end of the day, there are some amazing drama schools out there, and they are producing, again, a plethora of amazing brand new talent every single year. So you've got to keep your game up. You've got to keep your game up all the time. And we all still have to do auditions. We do. Does it get easier in terms of casting directors? Like, know, if you've been in the business for a while, casting directors know who to go to, like in terms of getting people in. But that's kind of it, really. You've got to be able to produce the material in the room, really. So yeah, yes and no. You can get picked because you are known, but equally, it just depends on the producers, depends on the creative team. But listen, this is another thing that I want to touch on, and you know this as well, dude. Like, there are so many boxes to tick when it comes to musical theater or any kind of performance, whether it be a movie or a TV thing. There's so many hoops that you have to jump through. There's so many people that you have to impress. A lot of it is completely out of your control, and this comes up a lot with my coaching at the VCA. It's a thing that always comes up, and it's often less about your talent. It's if you look great opposite that next person, if you're too tall, if you're too short, if you're too big, if you're too small, there's loads of different boxes that need ticking, and then your talent speaks for itself. So yeah. And it's like less about honestly, it's less about your talent. A lot of people take it really to heart and think, oh my gosh, it's because I'm not talented enough. And it's really not that. A lot of it is out of your control. And that's why I always mention focus on the things that you can control, which is your talent, how you prep for the audition. And anything else, you are going to an audition. Yeah, you are going to an audition not to get the job. You are going to an audition to present what you do. As an actor, present your process. That is it. The quicker that you can obtain that mindset, I find jobs start to happen. Because you have to care about the work, of course. And the reason why you're nervous and the reason why you're passionate and whatnot is because you care. That's it. You don't want to get it wrong. But you won't get it wrong if you've done the work.
This is my thing, and part of my French, but there's all you prep days before your audition. If you're lucky that you can get those days before the audition, but I always go fuck all right before I enter the door. Just right before I enter the room, I'm like, just let everything go, because you need to be in that nice, centered, stress-free, calm, relaxed place to present what you prepared for, rather than So so there's a nice question about do you read any literature, or can we bring that up again? Is there any theater literature you can recommend, particularly the one that stuck with you the most, or whose lessons you still bring with you while you're performing today? Maybe like words of advice from someone, a mentor.
I think absolutely. I think. And I found this quite late on in my career, actually, and it was a wonderful acting pioneer, which is, I'm sure everybody knows this person, which is Sanford Meisner. And I was introduced to, not him personally, but I was introduced to that way of working by a good friend of mine, Stephen Raman Hughes, who I did Aladdin with about 4 or 5 years ago, and it has completely changed. Stay there 1 second. I'm just going to grab a book for you, and I will come back and I will show you the book, which one I recommend. It's a wonderful book. I'm sure you can still hear me.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Awesome. A couple of books, actually.
Keep those questions coming.
Keep them coming, ladies and gents.
Yeah, so many people asking questions.
Do we have many people online?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Friend of mine, Chris, is asking if I'm covering my hair. It's really, really long now.
Oh my gosh, look at this. The one thing that we're most looking forward to when we get out of lockdown is getting a haircut. Yeah. Look at this dude. So these are the two books I really recommend. So let me show you this one. The Actor's Art and Craft, The Meisner Technique, William Esper. And they come 2 books together. And it's the actor's guide to creating a character. Oh,
nice.
This one right here. These are wonderful books. And a friend, Steven, actually got me these. It has absolutely changed the game for me. It really has. It really helped me focus on just building a backstory for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And approaching auditions, actually. Now, when I go into an audition now, if I'm singing my own song, let's say I'm singing a song, I don't know, whatever song that may be from a musical, I take it completely out of context of the show. Completely out of context of the show. And now I might not be able to specifically relate to whatever I'm trying to get out of that piece. And this is a lot of Meisner. But I draw from my backstory that I've created.
Yeah.
Whether I don't know, whether it's loss, whether it's anger, whether it's pain, or whatever that is, and draw from my personal experiences and impart that into the song.
That's actually, yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Keep on.
No. And it's never about, go on. It's never about the lyric.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say it's always about the lyric. It's always about the lyric. And
I see what you mean.
But the lyric is just so linear. It's just so not thin, but it's just so surface, so just on the page. The way that I work and the way that what Meisner has really helped me to do when it comes to acting through song is sing the subtext, the words that are beneath the page, and live the behavior and live the life of that character. And that subtext is your personal experiences that you can draw from, that you've been through. And everyone's been through certain things, good stuff, bad stuff. And putting that into music is absolutely a game changer.
That's actually great advice. I've actually heard that specifically from some casters as well and some creatives, because when you go into a room, the misconception is you want to sing the song how it was written for the character that's singing it in the show that you're singing it from. And what happens is it becomes extreme. You prevent the casting team from seeing something that's new and that's genuine. And I think in that moment when you're in the room, when you're singing it like how you're singing it, outside of the context that it was originally written in, you're now forced to introduce new ideas and original thinking into that new song. So that when they hear a song that they've heard 200 other guys sing prior to you, when they watch you hear it and they hear you sing it, it's something new, it's something fresh.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what it is. Let's talk about Linta and the gorgeous The King and I. This is something I remember when I had coffee with Dean. First thing he said was like, "But you're me." He's like, "We're the same guy." And,
absolutely.
We worked out, and he lifts way more than I do.
Not anymore, dude. Literally, we're so weak at the moment. We need some weight. We need some weight.
Proper weights. But then, it was an honor for me to be doing Lunta, well, at least covering the role that you originated in the West End version of it. How was that like working with Kelly O'Hara, Ken Watanabe, Takao Osawa? People that I've eventually gotten on stage with as well. Yeah,
fantastic. Yeah, I mean, listen, Rodgers and Hammerstein's always been another area of musical theatre that I absolutely love. Carousel and The King and I as well. The music, the score is just another world, and I don't think new writers write like that. And that doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, and it's just so wonderful to go back to. Yes, I do all my pop stuff and the riffs and the run and fun stuff, but I love singing straight stuff as well, like really kind of classic, legit Rodgers and Hammerstein stuff. What was it like working with that amazing, stellar cast and working on the London Palladium, by the
Oh
way?
my
What a
God, gorgeous place,
fantastic, yeah, what a wonderful place. I think there's I think there's a preconception with celebrities and big stars, which obviously you've got Ken Watanabe, you've got Takawa Sawa, you have Kelly O'Hara, you've got all these amazing, big, huge stars, and there's a preconception about celebrities in the fact that we often think, oh, they're going to be a diva, they're going to be, you know, this way inclined, or they're not going to speak to anyone. And the thing was absolutely wonderful to see, because I've been around and I've worked with actors who have that quality, that diva-ish quality, but I think Kelly O'Hara, if I could describe it in one way, would be the epitome of kindness. She is the kindest, gentlest, most humble. I mean, she's super, super talented. Let's forget about her talent. But as a person, she's just such a good human. And I really respect her for that, because, and it was just such a wonderful experience to work with her. And that also goes for same for Ken as well. Just a wonderful guy on stage, wonderful actor.
And off stage, he was such a jokester off stage. Like
such a jokester.
He was playing, and he was trying to get us to laugh. It's
all the
insane.
time.
Shige, his team, Ken and Shige. It's insane. I mean, I didn't realize that. You know, Ken Watanabe is the last friggin' samurai, right?
I know.
Inception. He's like, holy cow! He's massive, and and then he's just a normal guy backstage.
Just a normal guy. He's great. But the person that I've really connected with and still stay in contact with on a weekly basis is Takawa Sawa.
Great guy.
For me, like, he is a huge star in Japan, like a huge star. He covered the role of the king. He played the Kralahome in The King and I, and we shared a dressing room actually together. And I was very, very scared actually when I knew that I was sharing a dressing room with this huge star. I was like, what's he going to be like? What's he going to be like? And dude, how wrong was I? Yeah. The nicest, gentlest giant, because he's a giant.
He's massive.
He's massive, right? The gentlest, and what a talent.
Oh yeah.
What a talent. Did he ever perform The King when you?
No, he never got to go on as king, but he was he was our Kralahome.
Yeah, we did a bit of work together. One day we were in our dressing room, and he said, "Can you help me out with the king stuff?" And I went, "It's a bit of a tricky subject, isn't it? Because obviously, like, two actors help." And I was like, I mean, yeah, if you want." So we started some work together. Yeah. And let me tell you, he brings such a vulnerable, sensitive quality to the king, and he sings it so well. But just the quality of that vulnerability that he brings to the king, it is absolutely harrowing. It's heartbreaking. Yeah, I was side stage, and I was so proud of him when I was watching him like perform it side stage, and every scene he would do, I was just like this, crying, and I was like, I need to touch up my makeup before I get back on stage. But yeah, what a guy, what an amazing guy, so generous, so kind, and he would just do anything for you. But that's the thing. The thing is, I think that was with all the cast though. There was no ego. There was just nothing like that. It was just such a fun thing to be a part of. And I wish I did the tour. I wish I did the tour. Something else came up and I was away and I couldn't do it. And dude, we could have worked together. We could have been together. And hey, listen, there's time yet, and we don't need the wig department because we've got this long hair right now. We're going to grow that wig out. And but yeah,
tie it into a bun at the back of our heads. And
but dude, how did you find it? Let me ask you. Let me flip the question around. How did you find it?
You were talking about My Way and Why God Why, right? And my songs were, growing up, the songs that I really wanted to sing were all the Rodgers and Hammerstein ones. If I Loved You from Carousel,
wonderful.
We Kiss in a Shadow, I Have Dreamed. I grew up with the Rodgers and Hammerstein classics constantly playing. My mom loved making us listen to that. And The King and I was one of the movies that we had in our little I don't know if you know. Well, you're close to my age, but Betamax. We had a Betamax library.
Betamax.
Oh my God, you're younger. Dang it. So you know VHS, right? You've heard of VHS.
Yeah.
So before VHS was a Betamax.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
There you go. I'm old. But then we had a collection of like old musicals, and one of them was King and I. We would always watch that, and I remember thinking that I wanted to sound like the guy that played Linta. He had such a creamy, beautiful, like leading man, romantic lead voice, and I had such a high voice. I was a voice soprano when I was a kid, and I really couldn't hit that rich baritone sound. And anyway, so when I got cast right after On the Heels of Miss Saigon, I got into The King and I, and that was massive as a first cover, and I got to. I mean, just to be able to sing these songs with the orchestra, we don't get that luxury back home. We don't get to
really
it's rare. It's extremely rare to be able to do a musical with a full orchestra the way it was originally written on the page. And just for context, right? I mean, for the Palladium and even for the tour, we got people from Rodgers and Hammerstein having to come, right, and to watch and to really listen and to maintain that standard,
that sound, that quality sound.
Yeah, and I love that, and it was just a great experience, and to be able to really sing legit. I thought I knew how to sing legit, but then once you're in that role, and you got Steve Ridley and Malcolm, who was our MD on tour, really very particular about how you sound and how you hit those notes. It was just gorgeous. So yeah. And at the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm wearing Dean John Wilson's wig.
Oh man!
Oh, I'm wearing Dean John Wilson's cape. Yeah, like I felt like I didn't fill out the way you did though. I was
dude. I was big on that show. I was big.
You were huge. We saw you in the preview at the Palladium.
It was like,
oh,
bam, there he is.
Yeah. So King and I was just. I mean, I think people don't realize how gorgeous you sound in legit musical theater as well. Like we only really hear you do all of the riffs and the soulful singing and the R&B stuff, but then to hear you do a Rodgers and Hammerstein was pretty amazing. Has the lockdown changed the way you keep your tools sharp as an actor or a singer? It's a good question.
It's a really good question. I think it has. And I think because we have so much time on our hands, we are forced to read more. I mean, I know I've been reading a lot lately, watching stuff online. Because I'm a vocal coach and an acting coach as well. I do a lot of that with my Voice Coach Academy. So I'm constantly breaking down text with people, constantly getting into kind of the behaviors of a character, obviously singing, technique, placement, space, Alex Tech, a lot of that kind of stuff that I do. So yeah, it has forced me to just educate myself a little bit more, watching a lot of National Theatre Live. Did you see the Frankenstein on the National Theatre Live?
Both casts. Watched
both. I didn't see both casts. I mean, dude.
Oh my gosh!
I watched Cumberbatch played it.
Yeah, Cumberbatch was so different, but then also they were both really different. I liked him as Dr. Frankenstein as well. He brought a certain, like vanity to that character. But we're gonna geek out if we keep talking about that. Dean, are you constantly in work yourself? Is it realistic for you to expect to be in work a majority of the year?
Good question. Do I expect to be in work? Okay, here's the thing.
I mean, I guess to contextualize the question, like if we didn't have COVID, if none of this shit happened to us and theater was still alive and running and everything was normal, is it realistic for you to expect to be in work majority of the year?
I'd never expect to be in work. If I get an audition, when I get an audition, I do the work, I show up, and that's it. Like I said, you're not going to get the job, you're going to present what you do, and that's it. But right now, I come to a realization that there is no security in this business. It is so uncertain. It really is. At the best of times, regardless of COVID, and now it's even worse. It's almost tripled. I think, so that's why I came up with Voice Coach Academy and came up with a brand for myself to keep myself in work when I'm not in work. And it keeps my craft going, keep beating on my craft. But yeah, I would never expect myself to be in work. If it happens, it happens. If the other person gets the job, then that's what happens as well.
If there's anyone I know that embodies the hustle and really finding opportunities or making opportunities for himself, that's you, man. And I get inspired by that. I'm like, hey, Dean's doing this, Dean's doing that. I gotta be doing something too, you know what I mean? I gotta keep my game up, you know what I mean?
Dude, fingers in pies, dude. You just gotta do it. You gotta put yourself out there. And a lot of people, and I was a culprit of this. A lot of people do something for, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Everyone likes the idea of being an entrepreneur, and they innovate for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they don't see any success, and they go, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. Now, if success was easy, everybody would be successful.
Yep.
Everybody would be successful. Everybody would have the body of their dreams. Everyone would have the girl of their dreams, or the man of their dreams, or the everything of their dreams would be so easy, and everybody would be happy, and we'd all be in a very, very happy place. But it's not that easy. No. And success takes hard work. Yeah. And and it helps you appreciate it so much more. If I was just given, just landed a role immediately, a huge role, or if I landed, my business just took off immediately, and I hadn't put in the 10 years graft behind it, the end product is just the tip of the iceberg. Or for my Japanese following, it's just the snow on top of Mount Fuji. If you think about the size of the mountain behind it, that's all the preparation. And a lot of people get put off by that. They look and they go, that is a huge amount of preparation. But the way that I teach and the way that I explain to people is, if it's a huge amount of preparation, you chunk it, you break it down into little tiny pieces. A lot of people think success is this, and it's not. It's literally this. You're gonna have dark times, and you're gonna have good times as well. But when you get there, it is incredibly rewarding. It really is.
That up and down graph is just literally like my weight on the scale right now.
Dude, it's fat loss. That's a fat loss. It's just
going to go. It's going up and down. When you're in caloric deficit, it's just going to fluctuate.
How is that, by the way?
It's great. I think honestly, the lockdown has really helped me zero in on my caloric deficit, and ironically, my training. Even if I don't get to lift weights as much as I want to, my wife and I are constantly doing calisthenic work. We're working on our handstands, and just doing daily handstands really does something for your stamina and for your strength, your upper body strength, and your core. So yeah, we'll talk about fitness a little bit later, because we're going to super geek out on that. I want to talk to you about a little bit on your vocal coach academy thing, and your voice coach academy, and just your opinion on singing and technique. And when you hear, everybody's on TikTok now, on Instagram, posting singing videos and stuff like that. What are your pet peeves? What are you have a trained ear, and you're like, what are the stuff or sounds or tones that you feel that you don't like?
What, on social media?
No, just in singing in general, when people sing. Yeah. Or maybe let me rephrase the question. What do you feel a healthy or a really strong vocal technique should sound like?
Longevity. If they can sustain 8 shows a week or 8 performances a week or whatever they're doing, that's what I like. I like what I call a 3-dimensional voice. Good amount of, I'm gonna geek out a little bit.
Yeah, do it.
A good amount of head resonance, good amount of nasal resonance, and a good amount of chest resonance. Often people, especially in the upper register, have a load of nasal resonance, or just a bit too much head resonance. They're never quite connecting. They're mixed together. And the way that I coach, and I see a healthy voice being one voice. A lot of people are like, oh no, that's my chest voice, and then I break into my head voice, and then I break into my falsetto, and then I break into my mixed belt. It's one voice. So you get that seamless transition right through that passaggio, the passageway from the chest voice to the head voice.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I think is a healthy voice. So you don't hear any of that. I think that everybody should sing in a mixed voice. For those of you who know what a mixed voice is, nobody should be belting, because I never belt anymore, really. Like, I rarely do it, just because it's thick fold and it's flushing a load of blood to the cords, and it's tiring. It's a muscle at the end of the day. And if a sprinter was sprinting every single day, full out and no rest, they're going to tire themselves without any technique. Yeah. This is a muscle. Using the false folds and the thinner quality sounds like a belt. So if I'm ever belting a B flat or an A or a G or anything around that area, I've learned now how to sing it in a mixed quality where I can sustain that 8 shows a week. That's what I think a healthy voice is, to be completely seamless from start to finish. But also, what qualities do I like? Above anything is control and timbre for me. I don't really care about range, really. Like, a baritone could be, and the thing is, there's all this misconception of, oh, I'm a baritone, so I can only sing that high. No. That voice types is just the quality of sound that you're producing. It's not register and range, really. Right. Because in my mind, the way that I coach every guy or every girl, let's say we're talking about guys, they sing everything. Their range can sing everything, but it's about the quality of their sound. What do I like? I like timbre and I like control over anything. But also, when it comes to musical theatre, the thing that overrides everything is message. Message. Sing the text, don't sing the melody. The voice will take care of itself.
Yeah, I remember, because you actually coached me for one of my auditions in town. Yeah, so I remember all that. It was nice. It was nice to go through that process and to get a taste of how you coach your students. And just a little bit of trivia. Dean and I were auditioning for the same show, and he was up for the role, and I'm not going to say what show. He was up for the role, and I was up for the cover. And it was nice to just exchange notes on the same material. And I remember that. That was good. But we both didn't get the show, so it's fine. Okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
There's more to come. There's more to come.
There's more to come.
What are the songs that what kind of songs, or what song do you just love singing over and over again? Like, if it was a food, like you can eat that every single day.
Yeah. What song would it be? Dude, I'm a sucker for Disney. I love big, huge Disney numbers. I love Go the Distance. I love singing Out There. I love singing that. And I got an amazing opportunity to sing those songs at, I went over to Japan and I did a musical concert, the New Year's musical concert. And it was amazing. A huge orchestra. I just love singing with huge orchestras.
Ah, so good.
I just love it. Having those guys behind you, 20-piece, 30-piece, 40-piece, whatever piece orchestra. Just that real raw sound. And singing just big numbers, like Go the Distance. Like I said, Go the Distance. I need big Disney songs, really. I could just do it forever. I really could.
But what song would you not be caught dead singing?
What song would I? Oh, controversial. The controversy is real. What song would I not like to sing?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a particular song. I think it's just
what kind of song?
The genre of singing.
Yeah.
What do you think? Let's flip the. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think I wouldn't like to be singing? What do you think I would find as a challenge?
I don't know. Country.
I love country.
I know. I like country too. It's country gets a bad rap, but I like it a lot. I don't know.
Yeah. I think for me, in musical theatre, doing a really, really, really comedic character song. Just kind of I'd find that really difficult not to like fully sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think if you're like me, we like that sensation of just sitting on a note. And when your voice sits on a note, whatever that note is, if you just sit on it and just let it fly.
Yeah.
I know, it's such a nice sensation. It feels so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
if it's placed really well and you've got enough breath and you're not tired.
Yeah, you're not tired. There's no pain. You're absolutely centered. And it sits and soars, and I think that's what's nice to sing. And there are songs that don't allow you to do that, and that's why, you know.
I think I Have Dreamed absolutely does that.
Yeah.
Just in that I will love being loved.
But here's what I'll tell you about both Weakest in a Shadow and I Have Dreamed. They're deceptively difficult.
What's that saying again?
They're deceptively difficult. They're harder than it seems to sing.
Yeah.
Because it starts in a weird like middle range.
Yeah, middle range, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you're not quite, if it was higher, if it was like a note higher, easy. You know.
Yeah.
But then it's just there, and then it goes up and soars into that wonderful portion at the end of the song.
Yeah.
And I think that's why that's why Rodgers and Hammerstein is complete genius. 10 million people in the audience singing one song in what venue, what orchestra, and who's the conductor playing? Oh, that's a good question.
That is a fantastic.
Wow.
Do you want to go in, or is this for me?
Well, for both of us, I think, but then you go.
One song.
One song.
God,
one song. What venue? Did you just riff?
Yeah.
Woo!
What venue? Oh, what would it be? Oh my word!
I think I have something.
I think I have something as well.
Okay, go ahead.
Which I don't think you would expect.
Go on.
Let's do yours. What's your venue? Let's go venue.
Venue. I'm just gonna go I'm not 10 million people. I don't know what venues here can do that.
No, I was literally thinking that. That's why I went Super Bowl.
All right, so Super Bowl then. I'm not gonna go 10 million people. I think the song that I want to sing is not for the Super Bowl stadium. I think it's more like maybe the O2. I think is a nice venue. So the O2 or the Royal Albert Hall. I'm not sure what the capacity of those are, but I mean that's in my mind's eye, that's a big venue. I'd go O2, the Royal Albert Hall, singing one song. I would probably sing. I would probably sing like "Being Alive." With the best British orchestra that I can find.
Someone like amazing, like
yeah, and I don't know. We're dreaming with Stephen Sondheim conducting or Bernstein conducting.
Yeah, you know I mean? I was literally like Bernstein.
Yeah, Bernstein.
I think my one song in terms of where I would sing it at. Super Bowl's a bit okay. We'll bring it in. I think I agree. Like somewhere like the O2, somewhere like where else? I think Square Garden, maybe.
Madison Square Garden,
yeah. I think somewhere like there. One song. Maria, West Side Story. Maria, West Side Story. I think it's one of my favorite shows. You know, West Side Story is an absolutely wonderful show. Probably my favorite show. I
was gonna say, if not Being Alive, I was gonna do Something's Coming. From West Side Story. I think that would be like it just sits so nicely. It just soars so nicely.
Yeah. Have you sang Maria?
Maria, I have. When I was in high school, I played Tony in a school production of Chef Sao. Chef Sao Del Rosario, just so you know, Dean, is one of the rock star celebrity sexiest chefs in Manila.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, so I'd love to do like a Tony. That would be same. We're the same guy. It's
we're the same guy.
Yeah.
We need to sing together one day. We have to.
Please, that would make me so happy. I need this is like super geeking out, and people might not want to hear this, but I need to send you some tracks that I'm working on, just so you can tell me like specifically how I'm mixing it, and whatever. Just get your opinion on it.
No worries.
Perfect.
Yeah,
okay.
on my way.
Let's talk about the fitness thing. Cold friggin' showers in the morning, like ice cold friggin' shower. What is this? Why are you crazy? Why are you doing this?
Why am I crazy? Okay, so about just over a year ago, I was introduced to a guy called Wim Hof, and it was the Wim Hof method. And now let me just talk to you briefly about what the Wim Hof method is. And that is cold therapy, breathing technique, and mindfulness. And those combined, dude, like, you have to experience it before you can comment on it. I think no amount of what I tell you about it will change your mind about it. I think you just got to actually do it. Okay. So why do I do it? I do it because, look, we live in a world where there is such negativity. There's such hate. There's such like just bad, you know. And the thing is, as humans, we take that on, and we take that fear on, we take that overwhelm on, and we take on that anxiety. Anxiety is a big thing. Mental health, and mental health and anxiety, I feel, stems from overthinking, trying to control the things that you can't, that are completely out of your control.
Yep.
Like a high heart rate. Everything is like constantly boiling and bubbling and bubbling. There's lots of blood. It's all that tension in your head. It's just chatter. Now, cold therapy, cold showering, or getting yourself in the sea, or getting a cold bath, ice bath, or anything like that, being exposed to the cold lowers your heart rate. And if you lower your heart rate, beats per minute, that in turn is going to bring that stress level down. You bring your cortisol levels down. Yeah. And not immediately. And what the cold therapy does, it forces you to not think about anything else other than breathing. It takes you back to your childhood, because when you're born, when you emerge from your mother, the first thing that we do is cry. We take a breath. We breathe, immediately start breathing as soon as we emerge. And it's the same thing with a cold shower. As soon as you hit that cold shower, the only thing, you don't think about your rent, your mortgages, your bills. You don't think about your relationship, your anxiety. Someone called you out on Facebook or Instagram or social media, the hate and anxiety that's going on in the world. Don't think about any of that. The only thing that you can think about is the breath. Yeah. Breath is and the breath is something that never leaves you throughout your life. Your heartbeat is constantly beating, your breath continues to, you continue to breathe. And often as humans, we don't breathe enough. We don't breathe enough. We literally don't. We breathe every single day, but we don't replenish ourselves with enough oxygen and enough air in our body. We don't charge our body. We don't, give our body that level of alkalinity that we need. That completely changes us as humans. It really does. And that paired with the breathing techniques of the Wim Hof method, that I'm slowly starting to help people out with. And with my clients on a morning that I coach, my PT clients on Zoom and stuff, I take people through the method, and it has just fully changed the game for people. And people, the thing is, when I got introduced to it, I started doing it, and I was so scared of the cold. I was like, I hated it, and I was like this. And the thing is, you've got to start small. 15 seconds, then 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 1 minute. I do 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes in a freezing cold shower. But when you get out, your body feels charged, energized, full of alkalinity. It eradicates mental fog, gives you mental clarity. It's helped me be so productive, really productive, really creative. And it's just made my outlook on life, and especially in these dark and challenging times, it's been a game changer for me. Like meditating, mindfulness, and being exposed to the cold. I can't now go a day where I don't do it. I feel anxiety if I don't have that cold shower. I have to do it.
The cold shower happens first thing in the morning before anything else?
First thing, well, there's my morning routine. I wake up, we go to the toilet, of course. Finish that. Brush teeth, empty stomach, fasted, and meditate. Nice. I meditate. I do like a little 5-10 minute meditation just to start energizing my body. I then work out with my clients. I then do, followed by about a 20-minute meditation, mindfulness. It's very Wim Hof based, kind of energizing the body, visualization, listening to binaural beats, which is a frequency. Do you know that one?
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
But
they call it the God frequency, which is at 440 hertz, very,
right.
very, very low. It's like
Yeah.
it's like all
Yeah.
these really, and
Yeah.
it resonates in the body when you're practicing your
Yeah.
mindfulness and you're meditating, and it just with the techniques of the Wim Hof method. There's a lot of breath holding. There's a
Yeah.
lot of quick in breaths. There's a lot of inhalation and holding and exhalation and leaving it there. There's a lot of tension and then relaxation.
Yeah.
Once I've done that, finish that, get myself ready, get in the shower, hot shower first, do my thing that I need to do in the shower, and then I jump straight into that call, brother, and I'm there for 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, and honestly, you get out the shower and you just feel ready, ready for the day. And I really implore anybody, if you don't do anything tomorrow, promise me that you will do a cold shower. Do a cold shower. Just do it. But don't just do it one day. You've got to do it. Do it for 10 days.
You got to commit to it.
10 days, and you got to commit to it. A lot of people fall off the bandwagon and go, "Oh, it's not doing anything for me." Let the cold work its magic.
Yeah.
Promise. You won't go back. Good.
You're very exposed on social media. You're a celebrity. You're essentially you're a celebrity already, and with all that exposure comes, there's a price. People hate on you. I mean, I experience this regularly. How do you deal with that? I mean, there's so many people who are negative, and I know how you do it, but I want people to hear it because I pick up a thing or two from you all the time, and you're always just so positive and motivating and encouraging. And I appreciate that. Like at the height of COVID, you sent me a message asking me how I am. And I really like that. I really appreciated that. How do you keep your wits about you? How do you keep your positivity throughout? I mean, when people go directly against you or when the situation is really dire.
Like you said there, just echo what you said. With good always comes bad. You've got to take the rough with the smooth. You have to. And like you said, I'm exposed out there to thousands of people. And a lot of people think I'm great, but a lot of people don't think I'm great. And like you just said there, it is literally the art of not giving a fuck. It really is. It really is. And it's difficult. The 3 things that I swear by when it comes to getting rid of hate is compassion, empathy, and kindness. It wins. It really wins. If you've got someone in the comments that says, "Hey man, you suck. Oh, that was horrible. That was the worst thing. I don't know why you're doing that. Why bother? Blah, blah." I'm like, okay, what I could do, I could absolutely be a keyboard warrior, get on there and be like, "How dare you? Blah, 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 blah." But what I'm doing then is I'm fighting fire with fire. You can't fight fire with fire. If you add fire to fire, what happens? You get a bushfire and it just spreads and spreads and spreads, and you hold on to that anxiety in your head. You got to fight fire with water, the opposite, which is kindness.
Be water.
Be water. Be like water. Be like water. Yeah. So be like water. The way that we approach it, if someone says you suck, I turn on and say, what I then do, I then go onto that person's page, click on their page, see what they've posted. If they've got a picture of their dog, I say, "Hey man, wonderful dog. You got a great dog. You got a great relationship with your dog. What a cute dog. What a cute family photo." Give them that, because then immediately they go on the phone and they go, "What the hell? Now I look like an idiot." Yeah. Or I turn on and say on the comment, "You have a beautiful day." I never block a comment. Never really block a comment.
Wow.
I literally just shower them with kindness because they don't know how to react. And also as well, it gives you peace of mind. Yeah. It really does. That person then reads the comment, "Oh, he's been so nice to me. How do I react to that?" And I've had people delete their comment.
Yeah.
I watch it happen. People delete their comment going, "Oh my gosh, I'm the idiot. I shouldn't have said those kind of things." Listen, this is the thing. You could save, this is the analogy that I use, you could save an old woman from a burning building, and you're going to get one person who thinks you're an idiot. You're always going to get someone who hates you, regardless of what you do, even if you do the most amazing thing in the world. And here's the next thing that I want to jump on. And that is, and this is something for you as well, brother, and anybody else who's watching. Regardless of where you're at in your life right now, if you just take a minute and look around you, I know we're in the height of COVID and whatnot, wherever you're living, whatever car you drive or whoever you're with, whatever you're doing, wherever you are in life, if you've got negative thoughts going on and you're in a place where you don't want to be, everything where you're at right now is 100% your fault. It's 100% on you. It is. That is the top and bottom of it. And let me just elaborate on that.
Yeah.
And that is, if someone's throwing hate at you, if someone is throwing like tremendous amount of hate at you, it's up to you. If you take on that anxiety and that overwhelm, that fear and that anxiousness, and you play it in your mind, if you're in a job that you hate, change it. If you are in a relationship that you're not happy with and you hate it, change it. If you're in a friendship that is bringing you down, change it. It all starts with your thoughts. It's up to you. Everything is your fault. It is. And that goes to, like I said, goes to family, goes to job, goes to anything. And that was the mindset that I took up a few years ago now, just going, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in that position. And listen, if you're stuck at a crossroads right now and you're unsure of where to turn and what to do, recognize what you don't want. And when you recognize what you don't want, that'll leave open for what you do want. Yeah?
That's
everything
amazing.
is 100% on you, dude. It really is.
Excellent. And it's stuff that you can control. Work on the things you can control and change
Focus
that.
on what you can.
Yeah.
Because what you can't, I can't control what someone hates about me. I can't go to them and say, hey, dude, no, change. I'm amazing. Change how you're feeling about me. I can't change that. But I can change how I feel about what you think about me and how I operate around that.
Right.
So focus on the things that you can't control, and anything that you can't, don't even pay any attention to it, period.
That's amazing. All right, you have a special prize for some people that
I do.
Watching. Yeah,
I do.
I mean, we're going on and on, but we realize we're almost an hour and a half, Dean, and he's adorable. Dorsky said, "You're adorable."
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, yes, as promised, I have a couple of prizes that I want to give back to the community. Yeah. So for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks for watching.
One of the things that has really helped me out no end through 2020 is the art of stoicism. Yeah. And all of what I've just spoken about there, in terms of focusing on what you can control, and you're going to find bumps in the road and whatnot, is all basically stoicism. And it's this book right here, The Daily Stoic. Yeah. Nice. And basically every single day there is, like, it says like May 20th or June 17th. So June 17th today, there is different quotes and there is different forms of stoicism that I read every single day, and it just puts things into perspective. It really, really does. And I'd love to just share one with you. And that quote is, what kind of boxer are you? That's the question. And let me go into this. What kind of boxer are you if you leave because you get hit? That's the nature of the sport. Is that going to stop you from continuing? Meaning, there's going to be bumps in the road. Like we've talked about the scale doing this, doing all of that. Just because you're at this low point, does that mean you're going to stop, reaching for the stars? Is it going to make you going to stop? It's the nature of the sport. There was a choice of yours to step into this field, right, and be on this journey. And I think it's incredibly powerful, and it's very, very relatable to people all over the world. Like, this is the nature of the sport. You chose to get into that. And I think it's wonderful. I think it really is. There's one for every single day. So what I'm going to do, I want you to do, because I can't see any comments or anything. Can you bring any of the comments up, or that I can see?
We can see it. Me and my tech angel.
Oh yeah,
wife, Aggie. She can see it. So go ahead. Just do your thing, and then we'll put it up right away as soon as we can.
I would love somebody in the comments to comment me, and if you feel like you need this book, I want you to, in 2 sentences, tell me about yourself and why you would need my encouragement and need my help. Like, just a 2-sentence thing, just about a little backdrop about you and how you would benefit from this particular book or the way that I work.
All right, so we're
I would
streaming.
love that.
We're streaming both on Facebook and on YouTube, on my channel on YouTube, and that's what you're gonna get something from Dean if you say me and just give us a little bit background.
A little bit of background about you, chosen at random, and then after this live stream is finished, I want that person to direct message me or email me on any of the platforms. Send me your address, and I'm going to have one of these shipped out to you because I feel like it's going to absolutely change the game for you.
Me, I want one. I'm just kidding. I want one. No, but yeah, I was actually we were supposed to buy that book as well. We were looking at that. And it's great. I love what you said about, while we're waiting for people to comment, I love what you said about just really taking ownership and accountability of every single thing that's happening in your life. And not once you stop blaming other things or situations or scenarios, and you take ownership of how much of it is your fault or how much of it you can control, then you can actually essentially shave the path or blaze the trail of where you need to go. And I think it's
get rid of the things. Yeah, just get rid, like those things that really, really don't matter. And there's a lot of it. Just delete it. Just get rid of it.
Just get rid of it.
Just get rid of it. We got anyone?
All of a sudden, we have more viewers now, but people are shy. Are people commenting? No one yet.
No one's commenting. They're probably thinking, what should I write? What should I write?
Or they're probably writing like a 2-pager.
Yeah,
mate. I'm so glad I got you on this thing and on my second episode.
You're very welcome.
It's always really, really good to hear you speak and just get encouraged by you. Yeah, and it's nice to hear you talk and not. And I mean, of course, we love hearing you sing, but it's nice to hear the thoughts behind that voice.
Yeah,
and
bless you,
and just staying so positive and encouraging throughout this time. All right. So, I mean, what's your typical day like now? I mean, we're still kind of socially distancing from everybody.
Yeah. My honestly, dude, my days, well, you've heard my morning routine there. I have my morning clients every single morning, Monday to Friday. And then I jump Monday and Tuesday. I'm teaching at a drama school. So I have like 6 students back to back there. And then I have 3 students. So I'm usually doing like between 8-9 hour days every single day, like coaching, teaching. And then there's obviously a lot of the admin stuff that I do here for the brand, for the company. Do that Monday, Tuesday. Then Wednesday is just private clients. I have like 5 private clients. Then Thursday is the same, about 6 or 7. Friday is another big one. It's like 8 clients. And then Saturday, so I take Saturday and Sunday off. I used to work Saturday and Sunday as well, to be honest, but I hated that. I did it for like 3 weeks and I would burn out. I literally, this area here, ladies and gents, this is my little studio.
I remember. Here. I remember that studio.
Yeah. So I literally just sit in here. It's my little cave. I just get away, get my headphones on, and I just work away until the weekend comes, and then I see my other half, and then because literally I don't. It's Bryony. Literally, I finish up in here, and then we normally have a lovely weekend. But I'm very lucky as well because I live so close to a wonderful park, a wonderful common that I try and get out most mornings and do like a 45 with Bryony, 45-minute walk just to get some steps in. Because as you know, I don't do a ton of cardio.
We got
Susie, you made me cry within an hour on my very first vocal coaching session live on Instagram, I may add. By helping me bring out the message behind the song I was singing, I have high hopes on what this book can bring if you recommend it.
There Susie, you go.
Susie, the book is yours. Send me your address and I will get it shipped over to you.
Perfect. All right, that's awesome. It. All right, hang on.
Gone?
Yes.
What's that?
There's one more. How many books are you sending?
Okay, there's one more. Bring someone else up.
We're sorting it out. It's not. There you go. Oh, there. Emil.
Me, I've done musical theatre and currently managing a theatre lifestyle website. Sometimes it gets tiring and discouraging to make people appreciate and support the art form, and would love an encouragement from this book. Emil, where's he based? Where are you based?
He's based in Manila. Emil, yeah.
Okay. Emil, cool. Amazon, I'm sure Amazon will ship there.
Yeah,
Send me your
definitely.
address, and that book is yours, brother. Thank you. Oh,
Oh,
more.
there's another one.
I get affected by the littlest things and find myself paralyzed when I'm deep in any emotion. Thanks for the boxer quote, Dean. You're very, very, very welcome. It was 2 prizes. 2 prizes were gone. Done.
But yeah, Marvin is a really good friend of mine. He's an amazing singer and amazing performer. Wonderful. And yeah. So thanks for listening in, Marvin. Okay, thanks for listening, everybody. And Dean, it was an amazing session. Thank you for being on my Pick Your Brain session. I'm sure I get to pick your brain. I'm the lucky few that get to pick your brain outside of the podcast. And you've been a great friend. And stay positive, stay encouraging. And after this whole thing is done, we'll see each other. We'll get a workout in, and I'm not going to quit on you this time. We'll get a chest day in. And
we actually didn't speak about that one. when you quit on me, you fully quit on me.
Okay, yeah, no, I really quit. I wanted to make an impression with Dean, right? And we did leg day, and I thought I was strong. I thought I was strong, but it gets in your head and things happen. And I basically did a squat that was a little bit too heavy for my liking. I actually got through for 1 or 2 sets.
Yeah,
right? And then on the third set, Dean was like, "You want to add a little bit more?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do that." And I pretty much strained my back. But then you learn from your mistakes, and he was like,
"Absolutely,
next time you gotta let's do chest day or something."
Absolutely, we will do.
Yeah.
We'll see each other very, very soon. Send me a message. Also, as well, just those guys who are going to receive this book from myself, make sure that you send me your address. Once you send me your address, ping it through to either my Instagram @DeanJohnWilson is my handle, or on Twitter.
Yeah.
Send me your address. Obviously, direct message me. Don't do it on a comment or anything. And I will have the Amazon gods send you that book. I would love to know what you think of the book, posting quotes from it. And yeah, thanks so much for having me, dude. I really, really appreciate having me on.
You're a busy man. You got clients to cater to and students to teach. Thank you again. Stay well, buddy. I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate you. Chat soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.